I'm in my zone.
Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'm bringing you guys a review of Costume Quest out of the PlayStation Store. Halloween is coming up soon again this year, and what better way to spend the season than picking up a game that revolves around trick-or-treating. I actually had a couple friends poke fun at me for playing this game, but I think a lot of people judge the game off the very misunderstood title. The game revolves around collecting candy and exploring the town that you begin the game in, and it spills over into a mall and an amusement park, just to name off a couple of the other areas. Let's go ahead and get into the review. There's actually a lot going on with the graphics on this game. The game development team was actually led by a person named Tasha Harris, who was the lead animator and former Pixar artist. They also wanted a modern day feel to the game and used the old school RPG Earthbound as a reference point to how they wanted to develop this game, and the exploration element to the game does feel similar to Earthbound. A lot of games in the PlayStation Store have very different and unique art styles, and this one is no exception. The way the game was designed and looks give it a very friendly atmosphere to play in, and it really helps with the enjoyment of the game. While there was occasionally some screen hiccups or pauses, the game never once crashed on me, so it really wasn't a big deal. The soundtrack on this game for some reason reminded me of the movie The Burbs that starred Tom Hanks, as it has this quirky yet spooky type theme to it. The music went really well with the actual gameplay and was definitely another bright spot on this game. The sound effects weren't anything to write home about, but the soundtrack makes up for any shortcomings in that category. I actually uploaded another video for those that wanted to check out the story a little bit more in depth, but the opening sequence of the game, you decide who you want to play as, either the male or the female character, and whichever character you don't choose gets kidnapped, and your job is to rescue that person. The actual character script or the dialogue in the game is pretty good. Some parts were actually laugh out loud funny, so overall I'd have to say the story in this one was pretty good and engaging. The game title itself, Costume Quest, is titled this because a big aspect of the game is collecting pieces of costumes so that you can transform into battle versions of whatever costume it is that you put together, and they range from everything from a cat to a ninja to a unicorn. I actually got all of the main game trophies on this title without too much trouble. As long as you take your time and do all the quests and talk to all the characters in the game, you shouldn't have too much trouble with the trophies on here. There is some new downloadable content out for this game that added some extra trophies, but I haven't actually played the DLC, so I can't comment one way or another on those. This game's actually pretty easy. I breezed through the entire game and only had maybe one or two game overs, and the game in general is definitely meant for people of all ages, including a much younger audience as well. While the RPG elements were so thin they might as well have not been in the game, it does at least allow you to change your party setup by switching around the costumes on each character, which then changes their own special abilities. The combat is very simple, and the game reuses the same enemy types throughout the entire game with very little in terms of new content as far as the enemies go. With all that said, it's still a very solid game and worth picking up if you like exploration type games, as the majority of the fun on this title will be to explore the very well designed areas. If you're a parent out there looking for a game to purchase for a young child, you won't find a much better choice than this one. It's simple and enjoyable and just has an overall friendly tone to the game. Anyways, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'll be bringing you guys more reviews soon.